Alright, so you want to play Super Nintendo or N64 or regular Nintendo games on your tablet or your Android device. Got some step-by-step instructions here. First, you're going to need to order one of these. This is a USB on-the-go cable. I ordered a 3-pack on eBay for $3 shipped. You can also get them on Amazon if you prefer to do that. Trying to do this one-handed here. So the USB on-the-go cable turns your device into a host machine, so that once you plug it in, just into the regular micro USB slot, it recognizes the full-size USB device. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So, once you've got it plugged in, the controller here is going to act like a regular input device. Pretty snazzy. Here we go. Alright, so now that you've got the controller to work with the system, let me tell you about some other options that you have. In addition to that controller, you can also use the Xbox 360 controller. In this case, I'm using a wireless Xbox 360 controller adapter. You see it worked perfectly at full speed. I've tested this on my phone, on the OnePlus One as well. Works great. All you have to do is turn on your controller, and it also operates just as you would expect. Now, I have tested both of these devices on a couple other I've tested both of these controllers on a couple other devices. On the Nexus 4 out of the box, it does not work with USB on the go. You actually have to flash some binaries, which is a little bit more complicated, but not impossible, certainly. The Nexus 5 seemed to work. The Galaxy S4 had some issues, but the point being, well, I mean, it worked pretty well. You just had, I think that the unit I was using might have had a faulty USB port. I don't know. The point being that you should be aware that your device may not support USB on the go out of the box, so you might have to do some tweaking. It also may not ever support USB on the go if the hardware isn't there. So beware of that. Also, if you're planning on using this with the FireTV, obviously you don't need the USB on the go cable, but as part of this tutorial is about not only using the controllers with the emulators, but also backing up your files to Dropbox and automatically syncing them between devices. The FireTV is a great way to bring your experience to the big screen for a truly retro feel. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to a screen recording of my Nexus 10 to show you where to go from here. Right, so first things first, what do you need? You need emulators, right? So I'm using here Snesoid and Mupen64, the best emulators as far as I'm concerned. I also have Snesoid, which I think is great, but for the purpose of this, I'm just going to show you these two. So you also need games, zip files of the games, usually. Quick reminder, you should not, it is, well, okay, do what you want, but this is a warning. It is illegal to play games that you do not own physical copies of. So, for example, I open up Snesoid. I have a copy of if I have a copy of The Legend of Zelda, you know I'm cool to play it. Same with Street Fighter 2 and Super Mario World, etc. I grab these from CoolROM. I find that they tend to have the most expansive library, but you know, feel free to get them from wherever you want. Just make sure that you're playing them legally, or you know, whatever. So, as you can see here, Snesoid is looking at SD card, games, SNES. So if we open that up in ES File Explorer, what that really looks like is all of these zip files here. Oops, here, here, here. I can't really demo with the fingers without touching the screen and opening them. But you have those files, but you also have the save files in here as well. And that's what we want to sync up to Dropbox. So I'm going to go on ahead and open that up in Dropsync, and I'll show you where to go from here. Okay, so Dropsync is a great utility. I can't understand why Dropbox didn't have this added by default. Dropsync free works just fine. If you don't need to sync anything with individual files greater than 10 megabytes or more than one folder, that's exactly what you need. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Add Synced Folders, and we're going to choose Games, which is where I'm keeping all of my games. Now you see I have individual folders for NES, SNES, and N64. N64 games are too big to be synced with Dropsync Pro, or without Dropsync Pro. So if you want to go ahead and support the developer and buy that copy, you can do that. My wife's put a little, nix on the spending right now, so I'm gonna have to wait. But NES and SNES games are not larger than 10 megabytes, so you can sync those all day long. N64 here, I've basically only synced the save files, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. In any case, I'm going to sync the whole folder. So I hit select, and I want to sync it with games that I have in my actual Dropbox account, and then hit select, and I want to do two-way sync. What this means is that if something's added to Dropbox, it gets synced to this device here, my Nexus 10, and if something is changed on my Nexus 10, it gets synced to Dropbox. And since I've selected two-way sync with all of my other devices, like my FireTV that I play games on and my OnePlus One that I play games on, everything is syncing with each other. So you just hit next. Super easy, done, and you've got it. So all you have to do is do this with each device that you want to sync games with, and next time you open up Snesoid or whatever, and you're playing The Legend of Zelda, it will remember your last save. We can go open, load, slot 1. Now this is cool because I never actually played this on this device, but it's all there, right? Pretty cool, just like those fancy other systems that we have. So for Mupen64, because the game files are larger than the actual, are larger than on NES or Super NES, you can thank my cat for the noise disturbance here. We actually have to do something tricky here. So if you open up Mupen, you'll see that you can, in the settings, go to Advanced, and then you can have a game save folder that's different than where the actual zips are stored. So what I've done is I took a game save folder and I've saved it into storage emulated, the same folder, game/N64, as I am syncing with Dropbox. So when we go back and we go back to games and N64, we have all of the autosaves and the slot saves and all of the other games right in here, including Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, which is pretty exciting. Probably my favorite N64 game. So yeah, just make sure that you differentiate the saves folder so that you're not always syncing the actual zip files on those ones. They're too big to be used with the free version. Again, I would encourage you, if you're doing something like this, to support the developer and buy the copy of the pro version, because these apps don't get built if people don't buy them. So right, okay, so that's pretty much all you need to do. Quick review: you need your emulators, you need Dropsync, and then you need zips, the actual games to play. If you're going to be using input devices like a Super Nintendo controller or the Xbox 360 controller, you just make sure that you grab a USB on-the-go cable that converts from micro USB male to full-size USB female. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward, but it works very, very well. Thanks.